Hello, welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. So, it's a different room. My name is Gemma. I am a criminologist. I am an advanced scorist. And, you know, I'm a mother. Okay? So, in this one, I want to talk about Tommy Robinson. I don't normally do this. I don't like to do this. If I do it, I don't want to go into too much. I want to just pick things. Because he says a lot of stuff. And it's very controversial. And so I just want to talk about a few things to get some swing, to sort of like go through these ideas of how we can shape our society and also integrate some things that need to be added. Like, some people, like Tommy Robinson, have conflicting ideas for a state. They have different ideas. They come different. They're reflecting differently. Okay, it's a different sphere. It's not necessarily a bad thing, unless But when it's political, it can turn criminal because it's under law. We are supposed to follow this, right? So this is kind of how things that are political can become criminal. Okay, so this is one of the things that I agree with more than anything, is that if you have a political issue in anywhere, any state, anywhere, you're going to have issues with it within society. You have an opinion, you're willing to share that, you're putting yourself in that firing line, okay? So this is how I can originally see how people's how people can have certain events take out place in their world. Like, so let's get into Tommy Robinson, and he talks about taking the men back to their own countries. Now, I read somewhere that more migrant men pass through the channels to migrate than women or children. Now, this is obviously conflicting because, why not the children? Why not the parents? Why just the men? Why the men there? And it's like, oh, they're just coming to get money and stuff. And it's just like, there's more to it than this, okay? So obviously there's wars going on in different countries, and there's a reason why they come here, right? So let's just get this and understand this. There's a reason why they come here. They come here because they're refugees in their own country. Like they don't have anywhere habitual residence. They can't stay anywhere. It might be blown up, right? So you have to see it like this a little bit, right? But then you've got to really understand, after all that, where are the women and children? And this is like the major concern. This is kind of the red flag I think Tommy Robinson likes to talk about, because if there's no women and children, then you need to go back to base and fix it, right? So this is kind of like a man sort of alpha sort of idea, okay? As a matter of fact, if there is issues pertaining to women and children, and there's an issue with, war crimes taking place, or they're positioning that, and this is kind of like where it can get logical, and like all the, different people's different experiences, they have to be looked at individually, right? So this is the immigration process, right? But we have to really understand. Again, let's go back. Why is there loads of men? Where are the women and children? Okay, this is the concern. Okay, this is the highest concern, and this is kind of like what the migrants come over here and try and fight in our country. So that's one. So when it pertains to things like this, like, I can kind of get what he's saying, because it's like basically you need to go back and fix it, right? But how can you fix something that's damaged, right? It's completely and utterly broken. It's been taken over. It's been cooped or something. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's an impossible mission. Like, you can't go back and get your country back if something's been taken over and it's a coup, right? But where are the women and children again? Okay, so this is it. I'm going to keep bringing it back to it because this is my focus. I'm Gabrielle, right? So it's Gabrielle. Gabrielle's Muslim tradition, right? The what around it? but it's land, okay? So we all come from different spheres, different lands, okay? So let's get into this. To understand it from a spheric concept under Kabbalah, right? It's a travel, right? So we're looking at this plane 3D, it's a map, it's a travel, okay? You're going from one plane to another, you're going to different spheres, okay? So you can see it like this under like a chakra point under an earth position, if you like. But ultimately, everything has a different energy. Everything will have a different energy to you as well, because based on your astrology, you can actually have a map of your own astrology that will indicate where your best life might be on this plane, which is interesting. But like I said, this can also correlate to an aspect of like where you might be better off living as well, which is cool. I think it's astro astrology or something. And so this is the plane where which area of spheres on this plane would you more likely be able to live in more peacefully. So these will be like Sun, Venus energy, stuff like this. So just to get this into perspective, that to correlate this with an idea of understanding Tommy Robinson when he says about how they come to this country and then they try and change it. Well, no, I understand that there's always going to be a culture diversity that takes place over time. Anyway, okay, and it's happened for millennia since like the wars were happening in Nazi Germany and stuff like this. So you can't say it's like completely an illogical standpoint to do migrate. But I think what he's trying to say is, if I was to understand him, I don't know him. If I was just to understand him, he was probably saying that the culture is strong. Okay, so the Muslim culture is really strong. Okay, as a strong-based community, the religion's really fixed. You know, it's a position to be old, and it's threatening. Okay, it's threatening. That's one thing. It's intimidating. When you don't have any children and it's just men, it's extremely intimidating. But then it's just almost like that gets political as well. So everything can be criminalised under political, anything that's political that they don't agree with. Okay, so in this one, so if you have a culture that's really fixed, like Egypt, Saudi Arabia, or these places, they have them, then they're really fixed. Then they're more likely to stick together, right? That's not a bad thing. Hey, it's not a bad thing. Hey, shame can't say the same about our own country. Hey, it's sad. It's not because of them. It's because of our culture and the way it is. There's a separateness that takes place. Okay, there's a togetherness with theirs. It's community. It's religion. There's a separateness here because our religion has been destabilized, hasn't it? And it's meant to be a predominantly Christian faith, isn't it? Right? And I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. I'm just saying that every religion has a wound. Okay. So this is another thing. The spheres are going to be different on different planes. So I agree. You have to accept certain diversity changes. Okay, when you move, you accept certain diversity changes in culture, but you can also integrate it as well. So there's been a mix and there's been a culture divergence that's taken place in our country, especially in the cities. Okay, main cities like Leeds, right? So there's going to be issues that are going to be pertaining to things that are associated around many disadvantages in society. So you can't just pick one, okay? So disability, race, age, gender, and sex. You can't just pick one. Like, they all encompass those ideas, those restrictions, those things that are taking in place. You don't just pick one and go, oh, it's immigration, okay? So the Leeds riots, for example, let's get into this. The Leeds riots, that was really serious because it was about children going into care, right? So that was the first thing. The Sun, they did this. They reported this, the media. And it was about children going into care. And it's like, why? Like, what is going on, right? Because it's happening everywhere. I'm posting about it. Not much, though. Not much media coverage on this, okay? But, they come here, we question where their children are. Where's their mother and child? Like, and then you question what's going on with our country. So, there's political arenas in there that are taking place that that are being ignored. You might give him Tommy Robinson might have a traction for it under his own what he's experienced growing up, right? Because he's experienced it growing up. So it's almost like how can you understand it not just from a race context but a political one, because it's political, okay? So he talks about globalism as well. Like there is a context to add to this, which will make more sense to it. Is that you don't just include one thing, one disadvantage. It's like, oh yeah, because they have a religion, because they have a religion, isn't it? That's one of them as well, religion. So it's almost like it's a disadvantage, but they use them one topics to pick on one thing at a time. And it's kind of like so it's about immigration at the minute, but it's hiding what's going on with the children. So, why did they kick off in Leeds? Is it because it was a predominantly Muslim culture, and they're starting to see it happening in their culture, in their estates, so they're kicking off. Right? This is how it should be seen. It's not just when things like this happen. When they start going for the kids, we all come together. Right? Let's not get it twisted. Okay? When they start going for the kids, that's when we're meant to come together and unite and understand that there's many things that can create dysfunction within our society or change our society to divert it, but into whatever way it goes. The reality is that, we all treasure women and children more than anything. Okay, so this is like the top. This is the top. This is the Christ consciousness as well. It's women and children. It's family. Okay, family. That's what it is. And this is the Muslim tradition as well. There's a connectedness with these, right? And he knows it as well. Tommy knows it as well. He knows there's connectedness in Muslim. It's community. It's faith. It's all those things that we could lack as a society that they've brought over and taught us. There's obviously negatives to it as well, because people are rogue and they just do what they want and think just because their culture they can go around and do that doesn't mean they can do it here, type thing. So there's two connotations to this. This is women's rights. This is also added as a connotation to understand the disadvantage within society that can take place if political agendas stir. And the reason why political agendas stir is take your mind off or distract you from the real truth that's going on. Okay,